Alright guys, I'm back here today with another video. I got a good one for you guys today. So I'm right here today in the morning, Saturday, March 15th, 2025 at the Balboa Park over here, Newport Beach. And the reason why I'm out here today is because I have a lot of clients in Orange County that I come visit from time to time every single year, usually on weekends. I come out to visit several clients, several tax clients that I've had for a very long time. Some of the new clients I've actually picked up over the years, and some of the clients I've known, sometimes they turn out to be children of other clients that I had here in Orange County as well. So yeah, my practice has just gotten so large over the last couple of years where I just have clients all over Southern California and all over the United States. I even have people that live in other parts of the world as well that are still obligated to file a U.S. income tax return, even though they live outside of the country. If they continue to receive income and they are a U.S. citizen, they're still required to file. But anyways, what I wanted to discuss here today is just kind of like a weekly recap of what I'm seeing with the clients that I have this past week. So I do have one situation that I have been seeing for the last couple of years that I think a lot of people are not talking about. And it's actually funny because people, they have a lot of money, especially the older, greater generation, which there's still a lot of people around in their 80s and 90s. I have a lot of clients in their 80s and 90s that have a good amount of money. And a lot of them, they don't know what to do with it. They're in pretty decent health. They still live independently at their home. And some of them might require a long-term care. Maybe the spouse does, but there's always one member of the family that's still able to take care of the household. So what ends up happening a lot of times is you have these children or even grandchildren that live in areas that are very expensive, and they cannot afford to buy a home. It's just out of their reach. The average down payment is over $100,000 in a lot of cases if you decide to do conventional loans. So it's very difficult for someone with the average income right now, which is probably somewhere around $60,000 annual income, to be able to save enough to have a down payment for a home, especially if you're in an area in California or even in an area in another state of the United States. The average home price is around 300,000, maybe 250,000 in a rural area. But here in California, you're looking at $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 for a home. So sometimes you require a down payment of over $100,000, $150,000, maybe even $200,000 in some cases. There's people putting down payments, real large amount of down payments, to be able to avoid having to go through FHA or pay those mortgage insurance premiums. But either way, I do have these people that are well off that gift money to their children or grandchildren to be able to afford to buy a home. And that's very helpful because if that person was renting and paying $3,500 a month, $4,000 a month, $2,500 a month on payment, now they can actually continue to make a similar payment, but this time actually have it under a home that's theirs. And with the assistance of a down payment from a family member, which if they gift that amount of money, they do have an obligation to file a gift tax return with the IRS, but they do not have to claim that money as income. And so that is actually a very big advantage that a lot of people are having, which again is, it's a whole situation of the haves and have-nots. You have a lot of people, they don't have the situation where they have parents or grandparents that have enough money to do that. So that is, again, another thing that a lot of people are not discussing. Because if you have a neighbor that just recently purchased a home and maybe you have a rough idea as to what type of profession they do, I highly doubt it that they are going to tell their neighbors and their close friends that they got help from a parent or grandparent to be able to get into that home. That's just something that's just not discussed. I think a lot of people have too much pride to be able to let other people know how they came about into that home. So, and that could be another driver as to why the housing market hasn't completely gone and crashed, because there's a lot of money out there still from this greater generation that's little by little starting to be gifted to the baby boomer generation, to Gen X, and possibly even millennials that are, and even Gen Z that are now trying to buy a house. All of these generations have have struggled to be able to purchase a property in today's economy. But a lot of the wealth is still tied up with these people that are over the age of 75. And so they're continuing to live longer. That wealth is still there. I know I've heard of stories of a lot of boomers that are licking their chops because as soon as their parents pass away, now all that wealth can be transferred down into their hands, and it will allow them to be able to either pay off their current mortgage that they have or pay off their current debt, because everything is just getting so expensive. So it's making it very difficult for the average person to be able to save and to be able to have the same savings and wealth that the generation above them did. And so, like I said, people are living longer. They're holding on to their wealth. Now, not everybody's that fortunate, because there's also some situations where the elderly do not have long-term care. And even if they do have long-term care insurance, which is actually not that popular anymore, I have noticed that a lot of people are not getting it as much. Not sure it's because people probably think that they won't pay out. Some long-term care policies do pay out, and they pay out very well. But there's a lot of restrictions on long-term care policies. And sometimes if you're not careful, you could run into a situation where maybe they can only pay a certain amount a month, and the place where you are staying at, you have to pay the difference. So that could cause a strain, not only in the finances of those individuals, because a lot of them, maybe all they have is a small pension and Social Security, but they have to be able to come up with that extra money. And so what do? They start depleting their savings. And so that is actually going to hurt the generations below them, because now those people won't have that wealth passed down to them, and it's going to make it very hard for them to be able to save it on their own. So those are little things that I'm seeing. It's unfortunate, but the cost of assisted living and the cost of insurance is getting very, very expensive. So that's also causing a strain on the finances of older people over the age of 65, which, like I said, I have a lot of people that I've dealt with that have depleted a lot of their money, and a lot of them gift their children in their 50s every single month money over the gift tax exemption of $18,000, $19,000. Every year it goes up. They're gifting them money every single month, because even people in their 50s are having a hard time to make ends meet. But with the money that they get from their parents that are in their 70s and 80s, they're able to do it. But what's going to happen when the money runs dry? How are they going to be able to keep affording their life? And some of them, they have very bad overspending habits, and so they always run into trouble with their finances. They just never been very good at, making sure that they can balance their own budget. So it's going to be very interesting what's going to end up happening in the future, with all of these people in their 50s, because a lot of them are going to be living into their 70s, 80s, and 90s. How are they going to be able to continue to finance their lifestyle? I think it's going to be very interesting. Now, one of the things that I have seen as well this past month, and maybe some of you have gotten this payment, but there's actually something called the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset, which was repealed. And so for those people that were working in a place that was not covered by Social Security, but also worked before, because I do have clients that sometimes had other jobs before that they did pay into Social Security, some of those benefits were actually greatly reduced because of the fact that they worked at a job that now they're receiving a pension from. Well, a lot of these people, now that these windfall elimination provision and government pension offsets have been repealed, they are getting lump sum payments for basically all of 2024's benefits and a portion of 2025, which we're in right now. They're getting payments that they were due because now they're getting more benefits, Social Security benefits monthly going forward. So some of my clients have been receiving $2,500, $3,000, $3,500 one-time payments into their bank account. And so it's a little bit of an extra money that I think that will benefit people who have been in that situation. Also for the people who maybe did not qualify for any Social Security benefits, survivor's benefits through the spouse. Now, if they have applied in the past and they were denied those benefits, there's a very good chance that those people will also be getting an extra payment as well. I had one situation not too long ago, I think it was probably about 10 days ago or so. Someone mentioned that they got $26,000 deposited into their account. So that's a lot of money. I mean, just to have $26,000 appear in your bank account from one day to another, I think that's great. All of this money that's flowing through to people's hands, I really hope that they use it for the right things. I really hope that they use it to be able to pay down high interest debt and save, because this country is in a very bad shape. Like I said, a lot of people suffer from overspending. I know I've been a victim of that. There's been a lot of people out there that it's very difficult sometimes to be able to control your spending. But those are little things that you have to be mindful of every single week, every single month. Just have to keep track of what your outflows are and making sure that you do your best to control and make sure you don't spend on things that you do not need. Because there's a lot of people out there that are trying to hoard all these things from the store which are not necessary. Especially now with the fact that you could just go online, click a button, get your things right away from Amazon or any other website. It's even more difficult right now. You know, social media influencers, they're making a ton of money because of that. So, but yeah, those are things that I wanted to cover today. The fact that people have pride and they are not going to let their peers know that they are receiving monthly help from their grandparents. And I think that that also can cause other people that do not have that privilege to overspend, to try to keep up with their neighbors who are receiving money from their grandparents. And so you are basically trying to keep up with people who are getting these large subsidies. That's why it's very important not to keep up with the Joneses, to be able to do your own thing. And if you see someone that, you know, is able to buy a brand new car or that is able to purchase a new home in today's economy, congratulate them, but do not try to mimic them, because your time will come. Not everybody is built out to be a homeowner, so you have to be very careful to try to purchase a house that you cannot afford. Because a lot of the times what ends up happening is people, they stretch themselves too thin, and then they run into a situation where they cannot afford where they're living at, and now they're shamed because now everybody around them sees that they just lost their home, maybe they got their car repoed, and maybe they just cannot participate in the functions that other people around them usually do because they got into a real bad situation. Other things that I'm seeing here would be that people are paying more taxes right now too. This past year, banks have been paying more interest, and so in general, people are just paying more taxes on that. So a lot of people have been cashing in their savings bonds. I've noticed that has been a trend this year. A lot of people getting savings bond interest, and everybody's scared. There's a lot of people that are scared. There's a lot of uncertainty. I really do hope that the people that we have in office today continue to do what they have to do to be able to cut wasteful spending and to be able to help the average American. And everybody out there who has put money in gold for the past several years, congratulations to you, because we just got $3,000 an ounce in gold. It's just amazing. Silver has been doing pretty well. For all of you that have been stacking silver, good for you, because that is something that I think that people have to start building a habit of trying to stack as much silver and gold as possible within your means, obviously, because not everybody is fortunate enough to be able to purchase a gold coin. But you can purchase smaller increments of gold. Doesn't have to be an entire ounce. You can have 1/10 of an ounce or 1/4 of an ounce, but it's always good to be able to have some sort of exposure and some sort of savings in metals. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a lot if you cannot afford it, but I do recommend that at least you start small. If you're just buying them at 1/10 of an ounce a piece, before you know it, you will have 10 of those. And then you can go ahead and trade it in for a full ounce. So, I mean, a lot of people are spending a lot of money. I've even heard of stories online where people are spending $15 for a Starbucks latte. That's just cruel. I mean, the people that are spending this type of money, they don't know the value of the dollar. And I feel bad for them, because those are the types of people that are going to be running to you, the people who save, and they're going to be asking for refuge when things go bad. I'm going to go ahead and leave this video here. I'm going to continue to work. I have several appointments to see today over here in Orange County, and I just feel good. We're here at Balboa Park in Newport Beach, and it's a beautiful day outside today. For all of you that live in this area, I think you're blessed. Take advantage of it. I know a lot of people that live near coastal towns and they never visit the water. So take advantage of that. Thank you, everybody, for continuing to support my channel. I'm going to continue to provide good content that I think will make you guys a better person, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.